The top two seeds getting it on once again. Just a week ago, it was none other than Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies really putting it on Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets in Memphis. But this time around, we're in Denver. Could Jokic and company get some get back? You saw him dishing and then scoring early. Here comes those Grizzlies, though, out the corner. It's their main guy, Ja Morant. Ugly sight in here if you're a Grizzly fan. We don't show many injuries. If we show it, it's probably a bad one. How about Brandon Clark leaving the game? It's a lower leg injury, and unfortunately, it does not look like a good one. The Grizzlies, though, would play on in their guys' honor. You saw Jaren Jackson inside. Then other end, it's Bruce Brown on the throwdown, the old alley-oop. About Luke Kennard finding his way into that Grizzlies rotation. He knocks in the three. And then Ja Morant, the three-pointer the hard way. Memphis up by 8. Third quarter. Michael Porter Jr. with a acrobatic layup. It took me a minute to figure out why did it look so unique. I think Michael Porter Jr. thought about using his left hand. Ended up going with his right, and that was a really good decision. How about Brown just getting that one high enough to not be blocked? Other end, it's Mr. Morant. Just such a beautiful game when he's clicking on all cylinders. Unfortunately for Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies, their game stopped clicking, and nothing was beautiful about this fourth quarter in Denver. Jamal Murray would step it up, and he wasn't alone. That deuce puts Denver up by 5. More Denver basketball. It's their MVP crashing the boards. Jokic didn't take a lot of shots in this one. Got a couple attempts up on that possession. Jokic also talking a little trash, puts his finger all in Dillon Brooks' face. These gentlemen will be issued double technical fouls. For Jokic, it's not a big deal. For Brooks, that's his 16th of the season. He'll miss the Grizzlies' next game. Michael Porter Jr. will be playing in Denver's next game. So will their MVP, Nikola Jokic, with the three-pointer. Denver blows out Memphis, 113-97. Jokic, another triple-double, 18 points, 18 rebounds, and that dime to MPJ was his 10th assist. Nuggets win. Well, that was supposed to be one of the premier games of the week. It ended up being an okay game. The Denver Nuggets did their part. They took care of business. They won. They got their revenge. They now won 2 out of 3 against Memphis. Memphis probably will start to rest some of their guys if they can't catch the Nuggets now losing again to them. The only thing is the Kings are right there, chomping at the bit. If the Kings lose a couple games, I believe the Grizzlies will start to rest some of their guys. They're not going to catch the Nuggets at number 1. That pretty much, to me, wrapped it up. We'll see, though. Sacramento might give the Grizzlies a run for their money. So I watched this game in totality, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. My takeaway from this game was if these two teams play like this in the playoffs, they might both go home in the first round. I'm going to tell you what I liked first, and then we'll go to what I didn't like, all right? Jamal Murray was fantastic in this game. It's closing in on 2 years, to the day in which Jamal Murray tore his ACL. And obviously he missed that postseason and all of last year in the postseason. And he came back this year, and it took him a minute. He'll admit that himself. It took him a minute. Like, it literally took him a minute to find his way. I think he's right there to the old Jamal Murray. He's right there close to that guy that was dropping like 40, 50 in the bubble. He looks good. That jumper looks effortless again. I'm so happy to see him back. He looked phenomenal. I do want to show some love to some of these Denver role players. Man, these guys just don't take a night off, do they? Aaron Gordon. How about Bruce Brown? I want to show him some love. I like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I like Michael Porter Jr.'s performance in that one. He's sometimes an up-and-down guy. I thought he played well. So that's what I like from Denver. I do want to show some love to Memphis. Desmond Bane is my favorite Grizzly. I thought he played well. I actually didn't think Dillon Brooks was too shabby. Ja Morant had a really good first half. But now I want to focus on both Ja and Nikola Jokic because I do believe both of these gentlemen in their own ways had some struggles in these games. Now, Jokic went for 18, 18, and 10, and his team won the game, all right? So nobody's losing sleep over it. But, going into the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken, Jokic had only taken 5 shots. And it was a close game, pretty much close to that fourth quarter. I mean, that's not going to cut it in the playoffs. And, again, when it's these big-time matchups, I need to see Jokic being the number one option. This is going to be tough. We've seen this. It's kind of like James Harden, right? So James Harden, and be clear, Jokic and James Harden play nothing alike. I understand that. But what I'm telling y'all is this. James Harden was this guy that can control the regular season. I'm talking about Houston James Harden. Back in 14, 15, around there, 15, 16, around that time. Obviously, y'all know the time frame. James Harden would control these regular seasons for the Rockets. Just control them. Just the dominant guy, easily win games for his team, put up monster numbers. And then we get to the playoffs, and then James Harden will become passive. Well, in the playoffs, you need your star to take it to the next level. You don't need him to hover around like a couple steps back the player that he was in the regular season. Because now everybody doesn't know their roles. In these big games, I've oftentimes seen Jokic, just be a go-with-the-flow type of guy. Now, he's so great, he can oftentimes still get his averages. Or I seen they were spamming my comment section showing me that, in the playoffs, his numbers are actually better. I don't care about that. I actually watch the game with my eyes and not ESPN.com. Watch the games, and you just feel the impact that guys had. Like, that was a Jamal Murray game. Most of the nights in the regular season, it's all about Nikola Jokic. That game was more about Murray. He deserved the game ball for that one. I need Jokic to take more than 5 shots going into the fourth quarter. That is not going to get it done in the playoffs. I don't care who you play. Unless it's like Utah or Minnesota. The Clippers might be the 8th seed. Now, the Nuggets have manhandled the Clippers the last couple times, but like you got to take more than 5 shots in the fourth quarter. I mean, going into the fourth quarter. That ain't going to cut it. Now, let's go over to Memphis. Ja Morant's going to get a little bit of this vitriol as well because Ja Morant was fantastic in that first half against Denver. Just unreal moves. Just an unreal talent, to be honest. He ended up, and I didn't even know this coming out of that Houston game. I actually didn't watch that Houston game. Ja Morant's got a facial injury, so he's wearing a mask. And, we've seen guys struggle with the mask. It take him a little bit of time to kind of get acclimated to wearing a mask. Ja came out the gate firing on all cylinders. He looked phenomenal. Obviously, Memphis now losing Brandon Clark. That's going to hurt him. A guy that was going to be in their playoff rotation. That's going to hurt. But for Ja, you can get into Ja's head. These fourth quarters, there is a trend with Ja Morant that if he doesn't be careful, it's going to follow his career. He does have habits of going away in the fourth quarter. This is a real thing with Ja's career now. If you play half-court defense, which the playoffs won't be transition buckets, it'll be half-court offense and defense. Memphis struggles, and most of it is because Ja Morant's just so unreal in these games that you don't even have to really think about what you need to run because he's just doing the impossible for the first 3 quarters of these games. But again, my narrative for Memphis this year has been if you can make it to the fourth quarter against him, you got a good chance because in those fourth quarters, the games slow down. In the playoffs, the whole games are fourth quarters of regular season games. Right, of tight regular season games. The Memphis Grizzlies in these half-court sets, they look pretty lethargic oftentimes. And I don't know how they're going to fare against a 7 seed. I mean, look at the teams hovering around 7 out west right now. Again, Warriors, Clippers. That'll be tough. That will definitely be tough for Memphis. We shall see. But big win for the Nuggets. Congrats to them. They're closing in on clinching the number 1 seed. They beat the Grizzlies going away in the fourth.